You have been conditioned from birth to be a defendant in the court of public opinion. Every time you make a move, every time you choose a path, and every time you change your mind, you feel a compulsive itch to explain why. You believe that by providing a reason, you are building a bridge of understanding. But in this 63rd chapter of our journey, we expose the explanation trap. Christopher is here to tell you that the moment you begin to justify your actions to someone who has no authority over your soul, you are handing them the leash to your life. An explanation is not a bridge, it is a confession of inferiority. It signals to the world that you believe their judgment is a higher court than your own conscience. In the chaotic social landscape of 2026, noise is the currency of the weak. The sovereign man understands that his decisions are final, his path is private, and his reasons are a luxury that very few deserve to see. We are shifting from justification to absolutism. If you want to be respected, stop asking for permission through your explanations. The matrix feeds on your need to be understood. It wants you to stay in a constant loop of clarifying, arguing, and proving your worth. This is how it keeps you small and predictable. In Chapter 63, we initiate the Sovereign Silence Protocol. We are moving beyond the need for social harmony and entering the cold, crystalline realm of self-sanctioned authority. We are teaching your nervous system to be comfortable with being the villain in someone else's story. When you stop explaining, you create a vacuum of power. You become an enigma, a riddle that the mediocre cannot solve. By the end of this transmission, you will realize that your no is a complete sentence, and your success is the only evidence you ever need to provide. The era of being a professional apologist is over. The era of the unaccountable king begins today. You are not a suspect in an interrogation, you are the architect of a destiny that requires no external approval. Understand the dark mechanics of human interaction. The person who explains is the person who is seeking mercy. When you provide a long list of reasons for your choices, you are subconsciously begging the listener to validate your reality. You are saying, "Please agree that I am doing the right thing." This is a position of absolute submission. In the high-stakes environments of 2026, this is how you are dismantled. Predators, whether in business or social circles, smell an explanation like blood in the water. They look for the fractures in your logic to pry your confidence open. Christopher's silence protocol is about closing those fractures. When you state a decision and offer zero follow-up, you project an energy of immovable certainty. You are signaling that your internal compass is so calibrated that external opinions are merely background noise. This creates a psychological friction for the other person. They don't know where you stand, so they cannot find a foothold to climb over you. Think about the most powerful figures in history and cinema. They don't give why speeches unless it serves a tactical purpose. They act, and the world reacts to them. By withholding your reasons, you maintain the high ground. You force the other person to fill the silence with their own insecurities. When you say, "I've decided to move on," and stop there, the other person's mind begins to race. They wonder if they did something wrong, they wonder if you know something they don't, and they wonder how you became so cold. This is not cruelty, this is strategic distance. You are reclaiming the energy you used to waste on being understood. In 2026, being understood is overrated. Being unshakable is the new gold standard. Your silence is a wall that protects your internal sanctuary. Let them speculate, let them judge, and let them be wrong. Your truth does not require their comprehension to remain the truth. There is a direct correlation between how much you explain and how much you are disrespected. Familiarity, fueled by over-explanation, breeds contempt. When you make yourself an open book, people stop reading and start skimming. They think they have you figured out, and once they think they know you, they believe they can control you. But the sovereign man is a forbidden library. He reveals only the chapters that serve his mission. By not explaining your habits, your absence, or your sudden shifts in direction, you cultivate a magnetic mystery. In 2026, where everyone is a digital exhibitionist, a man who keeps his mouth shut is a terrifying anomaly. You become the ghost in the machine. People respect what they cannot fully categorize. If they cannot put you in a box, they cannot put you in a corner. Your silence is a declaration that your life is not a public utility. Consider the social shit tests you face daily. Someone asks, "Why didn't you come to the party?" or "Why are you working so hard?" Most men stumble into the trap of giving a detailed excuse. They cite busyness, family, or health. But the master of the shadows simply says, "I had other priorities," or better yet, he gives a slight, knowing smile and changes the subject. This is frame control. You are refusing to be cross-examined. You are teaching people that your time and your reasons are proprietary information. This elevates your value instantly. When you don't explain, your words gain a heavy weight. When you do speak, people listen with a different kind of intensity because they know you don't waste breath on trivialities. You are building an architecture of respect based on the things you don't say. In a world of loud amateurs begging for attention, the man who requires no witness to his greatness is the only one who is truly free. The highest form of power is the internal veto. It is the ability to look at a social demand and silently decline it without a single word of justification. This is where sovereign indifference meets tactical silence. In 2026, the Matrix uses guilt as its primary tool of re-education. It wants you to feel guilty for being successful, guilty for being focused, and guilty for being private. It uses your desire to be a good person against you, forcing you to explain why you are prioritizing your own growth over their comfort. But Christopher knows the alchemical secret: guilt is a ghost that only lives in the space of an explanation. The moment you stop justifying yourself, the guilt dies from lack of oxygen. You are not responsible for how other people interpret your silence. You are only responsible for the integrity of your own path. This is the shadow work of the elite. You must train yourself to sit in the awkward silence that follows a no. You must watch the other person's face as they wait for the because, and you must give them nothing. This is where your spirit is forged. In those seconds of tension, you are breaking the childhood conditioning of being a nice boy who explains his broken toys. You are becoming a man who owns his universe. You are realizing that your life is a private project, and your reasons are the foundational stones that no one else is allowed to touch. When you master the internal veto, you become ghost-like. You move through social hierarchies without being snagged by the hooks of expectation. You are here to build, to conquer, and to evolve, not to be the reasonable man who stayed average because he was too busy explaining himself to the crowd. As we close this 63rd transmission, I want you to take the vow of the unexplained. From this moment forward, you will treat your why as a sacred currency. You will not spend it on people who have not earned your trust. You will not spend it on social media comments. You will not spend it on toxic family members who seek to stall your progress. You will move with the certainty of a storm. It does not explain why it arrives, and it does not apologize for its power. It simply is. In the noise of 2026, your silence is your most lethal weapon. It is the shield that makes you unreachable, and the sword that cuts through the manipulation of the mediocre. You are no longer a defendant, you are the judge, the jury, and the sovereign king of your own reality. The transmission of the 63rd is complete. The Sovereign Silence Protocol is now active in your consciousness. Go out into the world and practice the art of the unspoken. Watch how the world tries to bait you into an explanation, and watch how you effortlessly decline the invitation. Feel the surge of power that comes from being the only person who knows the full story of your life. This is Christopher, ending the broadcast for the silent architects of the new era. Stay deep. Stay unshakable. Stay sovereign. The man who explains nothing, owns everything. We will speak again, in the silence of your absolute victory. Farewell for now.